said before me. He stepped in this very cage and he said,
"We're not here just to take part, we're here to take over."
And this is the takeover part 2.
Because Australia don't have wrestling.
Champion of the world, Islam Makhachev!
He's got the arm.
And here's the tap.
Look at the shoulder pressure. Though. Look at Dover's face. Oh,
And the champion essentially has one fight a year, and apparently can just say no whenever he wants until he's ready. To me, that's not the baddest man in the world. To me, that's not the number one pound for pound fight on the planet.
I told everybody the exact opposite. I told everybody, when I show up, I surgically dominate, and that was my plan today. That guy has fought some of the best in the welterweight division. That was his 31st fight, and I made it look like he's never fought in the octagon before.
Garry is exactly that kind of fight. A collision between legacy, revenge, and the future of mixed martial arts. Today, we're breaking down one of the biggest potential fights in modern MMA, exploring why this matchup means so much for both fighters and the sport itself. A fight that feels bigger than a championship. Every so often, the UFC announces a fight that immediately captures the imagination of the entire MMA community. Fans stop arguing about rankings and begin imagining history being written inside the octagon. This isn't simply another title defense. It isn't just another contender receiving an opportunity. This matchup represents two completely different philosophies of fighting colliding on the biggest stage imaginable.
There's a very, very easy plan in my mind of what I want next. I want to beat Bilal Muhammad and make it undeniable that I'm next in line for that title. I want to stop Islam's continuous win streak of 16. He's never going to get to 17 because he's going to face me next. I then want to defend it against Shavkat Rakhmonov because it's the right thing to do. I need that win back. Prove to the world and to myself that I am just levels above him.
Islam Makhachev is the protege of Khabib. I am the protege of Conor, right? This is the new wave of Dagestan, a more technical on the feet, a more technical grappler than Khabib. I am a longer, faster, more versatile version of Conor, right? It's the perfect fight to make. He has to take me down. I have to keep it on the feet. He can choose it wherever he wants. The ball's in his court, whenever he's ready, whenever he wants. If he wants to do it in Dagestan, Russia, I will see him there. I'm not afraid of any man walking this earth, but he has to do the right thing now. He has to do the right thing. He has a duty as champion of the welterweight division to fight the best in the world. Tonight, I proved I'm the best in the world.
On one side stands Islam Makhachev, the calm, calculated champion who has methodically built one of the greatest winning streaks in UFC history. Standing opposite him is Ian Machado Garry, the confident Irish contender who believes he represents the next evolution of Irish mixed martial arts. The excitement surrounding this contest goes far beyond the championship itself. For one fighter, victory means immortality and another historic milestone. For the other, victory represents redemption, not only for himself, but for an entire nation of fans who have carried memories from one unforgettable night in 2018. That is why this contest feels so different. Why 2018 still matters. To understand why emotions run so high today, we have to return to one of the most famous rivalries the UFC has ever produced. Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov was never just another championship fight. It evolved into something much larger. Months of personal attacks, heated press conferences, insults directed toward religion and family. The infamous bus incident and constant tension transformed the rivalry into one of the most emotionally charged stories in combat sports history. When the cage door finally closed, Khabib delivered a dominant performance and forced McGregor to submit in the 4th round. For Dagestan, it became one of the greatest victories in MMA history. For Ireland, it became a painful memory. The rivalry ended without McGregor ever receiving another opportunity to settle the score, and Khabib eventually retired undefeated. For years, many Irish fans have wondered what might have happened had another chance existed. Now, a new Irish contender believes he can create that opportunity, not against Khabib, but against the man who inherited his legacy.
Ian
Machado Garry's mission. Ian Machado Garry has never hidden his ambitions. He doesn't simply want to become champion. He wants to defeat the very best fighter available. Throughout recent interviews, Garry has repeatedly stated that his goal is clear. He wants to challenge Islam Makhachev. His confidence isn't built solely on emotion. Instead, it comes from years of steady development inside the UFC. Unlike comparisons that are often made with other Irish fighters, Garry has developed his own identity. His style is based on distance management, precision striking, intelligent movement. His fight IQ continues to grow. Most importantly, he has shown increasing confidence against elite competition. After defeating some of the toughest names in the division, Garry believes he has earned the right to fight for the championship. In his mind, defeating Islam would prove once and for all that he belongs among the sport's elite.
Islam Makhachev's pursuit of greatness.
While Garry talks about opportunity, Islam Makhachev speaks through accomplishments. The reigning champion rarely engages in emotional exchanges. His confidence comes from preparation. His reputation has been built through victories rather than headlines. Over the years, Islam has established himself as perhaps the most complete lightweight champion the UFC has ever seen. His victories over Charles Oliveira, Alexander Volkanovski, Dustin Poirier, and Renato Moicano demonstrated different aspects of his game. Against every opponent, he found solutions. Some opponents struggled with his wrestling, others couldn't handle his pressure against the fence. Even accomplished grapplers found themselves trapped underneath his relentless control. What separates Islam from many champions isn't only his wrestling, it is his adaptability. Every fight presents a different puzzle. Every opponent requires a unique approach. Islam consistently finds the correct answers. Now, after capturing success across divisions, he stands on the edge of another historic achievement. Another victory would move him even closer to cementing his place among the greatest fighters the UFC has ever seen. For someone driven by legacy, every title defense matters. Every victory becomes another chapter in history, a clash of styles. Stylistically, this matchup is fascinating. Ian Garry thrives when fights remain at striking distance. His long frame allows him to control space using jabs, kicks, and quick combinations. He prefers forcing opponents to chase him while he dictates the tempo. Islam Makhachev, meanwhile, excels at reducing space. His pressure gradually limits movement. Instead of chasing recklessly, he patiently cuts off the cage before initiating clinch exchanges and takedowns. Once on the ground, very few fighters have escaped his control. The question becomes obvious. Can Garry maintain distance for 25 minutes? Or will Islam eventually impose his wrestling? That tactical battle may determine everything. The importance of size. One of the biggest talking points surrounding this matchup is physical size. Ian Machado Garry is a natural welterweight. His frame was built for 170 pounds. Islam spent most of his championship career competing at lightweight before moving upward. That difference cannot be ignored. Reach, height, natural strength, recovery after weight cuts. All of these factors influence championship fights. Supporters of Garry believe those advantages could finally neutralize Islam's wrestling. Supporters of Islam believe technique and timing will once again overcome physical measurements. History has shown examples supporting both arguments. That uncertainty only makes the contest even more compelling. Can Garry stop the wrestling? Perhaps the single biggest question entering the fight revolves around takedown defense. Throughout his career, Islam has repeatedly forced elite opponents into uncomfortable grappling exchanges. Few have consistently denied his attempts. Garry, however, believes his wrestling defense has improved dramatically. Recent performances have strengthened that belief. Stuffing numerous takedown attempts against elite welterweights has given him confidence that he possesses the skills necessary to frustrate the champion. Stopping one takedown is difficult. Stopping repeated attempts over 5 rounds is another challenge entirely. Even if Garry successfully defends early exchanges, can he continue doing so as fatigue accumulates? That is where championship experience often becomes decisive. Long before the opening bell rings, another fight will already be taking place.
The psychological battle.
Ian Garry carries enormous motivation. He understands the historical symbolism attached to this contest. He embraces comparisons to Irish MMA history. That emotional investment can become a powerful weapon, but emotion can also become a dangerous weakness, overcommitting to offense, abandoning strategy, rushing exchanges. Those mistakes become costly against a champion as composed as Islam. Makhachev rarely fights emotionally. Pressure from the crowd doesn't affect him. Trash talk doesn't distract him. Outside noise disappears the moment competition begins. That calm mentality has become one of his greatest strengths throughout his championship reign. If Garry loses emotional control, Islam will likely capitalize. If Garry remains disciplined, the contest becomes significantly more competitive. Championship belts eventually change hands. Records remain forever. For Islam Makhachev, this fight represents another opportunity to strengthen one of the greatest resumes in modern MMA. Every successful defense brings additional comparisons with legendary champions. Every victory reinforces discussions about his place among the greatest pound-for-pound fighters in UFC history. For Ian Machado Garry, the stakes are equally enormous. A victory wouldn't simply crown a new champion. It would instantly transform him into one of the biggest stars in mixed martial arts. Defeating Islam would validate years of confidence. It would silence critics. It would establish him as the leader of the new generation. Moments like these create legends. For Ian Machado Garry, success begins with movement. He must avoid prolonged clinch exchanges. He must control distance with kicks and straight punches. Most importantly, he cannot allow Islam to dictate positioning against the fence. Every second spent in open space favors the challenger. For Islam Makhachev, patience remains essential. He doesn't need early takedowns. He only needs consistent pressure, forcing Garry backward, making him defend constantly, gradually reducing his speed. Those small victories often create much larger openings later in championship fights. As the rounds progress, wrestling usually becomes more effective. Experience begins to matter even more. That has been one of Islam's greatest strengths throughout his career. My analysis, when examining this matchup objectively, Ian Machado Garry absolutely possesses the tools necessary to create difficult moments for Islam Makhachev. His length, his striking, his mobility, his confidence all represent genuine challenges. However, defeating Islam requires maintaining perfection for 25 minutes. History has shown how difficult that task truly is. Many elite fighters entered the octagon believing they had discovered the correct strategy. Most eventually found themselves trapped beneath relentless pressure. Islam's greatest weapon isn't simply wrestling, it is consistency. He forces opponents to solve the same impossible problem repeatedly until mistakes appear naturally. If Garry successfully avoids prolonged grappling exchanges, his chances increase dramatically. If Islam establishes top control early, momentum could shift permanently toward the champion. That delicate balance makes this matchup one of the most fascinating stylistic battles the UFC can produce.
Conclusion.
Whether this fight ultimately becomes reality or not, there is no denying its significance. It combines championship stakes, historical symbolism, stylistic intrigue, national pride, and the pursuit of greatness. Islam Makhachev seeks to continue building one of the greatest legacies in UFC history. Ian Machado Garry believes he is the man destined to stop that journey while writing his own. Only one vision can survive when the octagon door closes, and perhaps that is exactly why the entire MMA world is already waiting for this showdown. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting the channel. I truly appreciate every single one of you for joining me in these deep UFC breakdowns. If you enjoyed today's analysis, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next MMA video. Now it's your turn. Who wins this fight? Islam Makhachev or Ian Machado Garry? Can Garry successfully defend the takedowns and create history? Or will Islam continue his legendary run and further cement his legacy among the greatest champions the UFC has ever seen? Let me know your prediction in the comments below.